Maggie here again, coming to you this time again in a pretty much of a stripped down, dressed down manner. I'm working on a house again, so very much a sort of working clothes environment. But it's important, actually, part of what I want to say tonight anyway, in that sometimes when you do that for a long time, as in you're dressed down, you can sometimes lose track of where you are in where you want to be in your transition to being, in my case, a full woman. And obviously it could be the opposite if you're going the opposite way in your journey, but sometimes it's difficult to maintain a feeling of the progress you're making, and there's sometimes you need some little things just to hold on to that helps you carry on. Seeing those little feminizing features that make it all worth it. It can be different for different people. For some it might be lingerie, it could be jewelry, it could be nails, it could be hair, it could be makeup, it could be any number of things. For me, I found that when I'm dressed ready for work, as it were, working on the house, thankfully now I'm actually retired, so I don't need to work full time, which is great. But if I'm working on a house, then I'll have to be very much dressed ready for that. The one little thing I hold on to help me feel feminine is earrings, and I love that feeling of not only how they dangle on my ear, but also occasionally I just see myself in the mirror and I see that little thing, and it just makes me remember that I'm where I want to be, and even though I'm dressed like I am, I'm still a woman, and it makes me feel good. Obviously I've got my hair pulled back to get it out of the way, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't, but as I say, for you it could be something completely different. But don't be afraid to hold on. If you can't do the whole process and do all the whole thing, all of it, find the thing that means the most to you, that you can hold on to during the day when you may not feel too feminine or masculine or wherever you want to be. There's just that something you can hold on to, and don't be afraid to have that, because it's comforting and it's important. So anyway, another thing that I wanted to talk to about this time was last time I talked about coming through, the beginning of this transition at different times in life, and I touched upon possibly people who are going through this very young, and how it's important to get help and advice, because sometimes when you're very young, your body and your thought processes are at a very early stage, and sometimes you just need that little extra thought. And when I said that, I've been worrying about it and hoping that people weren't mistaking the meaning of my words. And as I say, first and foremost, I do see you and I feel you. If you honestly desire to want to change things and start a transition, then you've every right to do that. But it's very, very important at that kind of early stage that you have people that you can depend on and rely on. And I think I mentioned ideally that would be parents, but it can be other members of the family or people at school or church, or if the church are supportive. Not all churches are, as we know, but someone who's a trusted individual who can help you go through the thought process, and then if that is a definite thing, then you then go into the process of how you then get on to the next step. But it also then made me think that the whole idea of this support network, which is vitally important, it's very, very, very difficult to do this on your own. And ideally you have this support network, which may or may not include a therapist, depending on how you personally want to approach it. But personally, I've benefited a lot from having a therapist that can help me think through things. But it also made me think about allies and family members. And someone mentioned to me a while back, they said, well, you're lucky now that you're coming through at a time where more people understand what you are. And I actually said, I'm not sure that more people understand. I think more people are aware. That doesn't necessarily mean to say they're understanding. And I think that people are aware, unfortunately these days, in a very bipolar environment, they're aware in two wildly different ways. One is that they're aware of the struggles and the problems that we go through and have sympathy with us. Others are aware because they feel it's totally wrong and unnatural, and they feel that we are perfectly acceptable targets for victimization, which makes what is already a difficult process immeasurably more difficult. And it's so sad that we have to face that bipolarization of perceptions. And as I say, that's just understanding. So that's where the role of the support network and allies and so on becomes even more important, because it's not enough these days to just be aware. You have to understand and actively support someone who's going through this. It can make the difference between not only success and failure, but literally life and death. Sometimes it's vitally important that someone not only just feels seen, but feels supported. That when we're given the opportunity to not just stand on the outsides and look in, that we are actually able to step up and actively support someone who needs it. And I certainly applaud and appreciate all the people who are supportive by being more aware and occasionally saying the right things. But I do encourage those people, when they can, when it's right for them, to do even more, because in these days of more attacks on people like us, particularly young people like us, it's so important that those people feel more supported, more seen, more accepted, and having someone who can have their back and stand up for them when needed, as I say, is vitally important. So I would encourage, as I say, people to think about what else they can do to actively help. If you need to get more information about the people you're helping and how you can help, then there's plenty of places out there. You'd have to look up to your own localities to where they may be, but there are plenty of people out there who can give you advice, who can help you and say, look, these are the resources that are available to you. This is, what you need to be aware of. And even if it's just a matter of going onto Google or whatever and finding out more about what's involved and answering those questions which you may feel embarrassed to ask yourself. People like me, I'm quite happy to talk to people if they've got genuine questions. I'll answer them all night long. Other people might be embarrassed by that, so if you've got to do your research online to answer some of those questions which make you feel more comfortable with supporting people, then do that research. But I would encourage it, because some people really, really need it at the moment. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for now. I hope everyone's doing well. Please take care and be safe and be happy. If you like this, thumbs up, subscribe, please leave comments, and I hope to see you all again soon. Okay, bye for now. Bye.